Breaking news! Yes, my friends, it's the kind of turn of events that makes every Browns fan stop what they're doing, grab their phone, and start refreshing the page for updates, because it doesn't just affect one game, it can change the entire preseason. The quarterback who was electrifying training camp, the one fans couldn't wait to see face one of the toughest defenses in the NFL, suddenly disappeared before the action even started. No hits, no sacks, not even a defensive player in his face, just one moment in warm-ups, and everything changed. And the way it happened, the way the news broke, has people asking all the right questions, and maybe all the wrong ones. Was it just bad luck? A cautious move by the coaching staff? Or is there something more behind the scenes that we haven't been told yet? We have important updates, and I'll tell you everything that's happening. But before we continue, hit the like button if you've been a Cleveland Browns fan for over 20 years. It's great to see fans of all ages. There are people here who were at the first game. If possible, comment like this: "Come on, Browns." Let's not get discouraged. Let's get straight to the point. Now, Mary Kay Cabot's official statement is that Sanders will likely miss this Saturday's game. For those who watched his every pass, every tackle, every flash of promise, this is a punch in the gut. Against Carolina, we saw poise, precision, and that game-changing instinct. 2 drives that ended in touchdowns, a third that propelled the offense into scoring position, and a completion percentage that made you stop and take notice. He was warming up, gaining momentum, and Saturday against the defending NFC champions should be a great milestone. But then came the weird part, the timing of it all. As practice unfolded, the reports rolled in: Huntley taking reps, Flacco working with the first team, Gabriel with the twos, even Pickett running 7-on-7 drills. And yet, no Sanders. Fans were refreshing Twitter. Group chats were firing up with theories, and then, an hour later, the Browns finally announced he was out with an oblique injury. That delay, fair or not, has fueled every kind of conspiracy theory you could imagine. Was it precautionary? Was it something that happened before the team arrived on the field? Or is there more to the story? Either way, the absence changes everything for Saturday. This was going to be a golden opportunity to see how Sanders stacked up against a deep and talented Eagles roster, whether it was against their starters, backups, or third stringers. Now, the door opens for Gabriel, the rookie Cleveland actually drafted ahead of Sanders. He's been the quiet name in the quarterback room compared to the 5th-rounder who's stealing the spotlight, but this could be a shot to shift the narrative. If Gabriel delivers a big performance, suddenly the conversation about the depth chart could look very different. And here's the kicker: if things go from bad to worse and Gabriel, Pickett, and Sanders can't go, we're talking about the Browns possibly signing a 7th quarterback just to make it through preseason. Not because they can't play Flacco, but because they don't want to play him right now. The plan is clearly to keep him fresh for week 1 and let the young guys learn in the meantime. Imagine the internet reaction if Cleveland has to bring in another arm this late in camp. Still, even while sidelined, Sanders showed why fans are drawn to him. After practice, he was one of the last 2 players on the field, talking to Jalen Hurts. And this wasn't just a quick handshake. Hurts said Sanders approached him to pick his brain, to soak up every bit of knowledge he could. This is a quarterback who just won a Super Bowl and a Super Bowl MVP, and Sanders is treating it like a one-on-one masterclass. That's the hunger you want in a future franchise leader. Just yesterday, before this injury news hit, Stefanski had even said Sanders would start if Gabriel couldn't. That tells you how far he'd come in the coach's eyes. Statistically, his game against Carolina answered a lot of questions. The knock had been that he held the ball too long and took unnecessary sacks. But under pressure, with a backup offensive line, he went 6-4-7 against the blitz for 62 yards and 2 touchdowns, both with free rushers coming straight at him. On play action, one of Stefanski's favorite weapons in the offense, he was 3 for 4 for 30 yards and another score. And for those saying he only throws checkdowns, the numbers between 10 and 19 yards told a different story. 4 for 5, both touchdowns in that range, and 63 yards total. That's exactly the kind of intermediate success this scheme thrives on. Unfortunately, the injury news wasn't the only headline in Berea. Kevin Stefanski had to address yet another speeding incident involving star defensive end Myles Garrett, calling it extremely disappointing and emphasizing the need for Garrett to slow down for his own safety and that of others. It's his 7th road-related incident since joining the Browns, but Stefanski wouldn't confirm whether the team had issued any formal discipline. And in quieter but still important roster news, wide receiver Luke Floria cleared waivers after being released with a hamstring injury. He's now back on Cleveland's injured reserve list, which means there's still a chance he could return later this season if an injury settlement is reached. Floria had been standing out in camp and seemed to be one of Sanders' favorite targets, highlighted by that insane one-handed grab 30 yards downfield before he got hurt in the preseason game. Because let's be real, this moment has ripple effects that go way beyond just one preseason game. For a rookie quarterback, every rep is currency, and right now Sanders is losing valuable time to sharpen his timing, deepen his command of the offense, and show that his strong Panthers performance wasn't just a one-off. If he misses not just Saturday but potentially another game, Gabriel and Pickett get extra chances to close that gap or even overtake him in the depth chart conversation. And with the way this staff seems committed to letting competition decide things, it's not hard to imagine a different order emerging by week 1. What makes this even more frustrating is that Sanders was building serious momentum. Just before the injury, he'd been given more practice reps than any other quarterback on the roster. The coaches were clearly pushing him into more prominent situations. Stefanski himself had gone on record saying Sanders would get the start if Gabriel couldn't go, an admission that the rookie had earned enough trust to lead the team out of the gate. That's not the kind of opportunity you want to see interrupted, especially when the opponent is a high-caliber, deep, physical Eagles squad that could have provided the perfect trial by fire. Instead, Browns fans are left in limbo. We'll be watching Gabriel's every snap on Saturday, wondering how Sanders might have handled the same look. We'll be dissecting every throw Flacco makes in warm-ups, looking for clues on how the quarterback rotation will shake out. And yes, we'll be keeping an eye on the transaction wire, just in case Andrew Berry and the front office pull the trigger on an emergency quarterback signing. The human side of this is worth remembering, too. Watching Sanders limp out of drills and knowing the disappointment he must have felt, you have to respect the way he handled the day. Rather than disappearing into the locker room, he stayed. He talked to Hurts. He watched drills. He absorbed the offense from the sideline. For a young player trying to cement his place, those small details matter. It shows coaches and teammates alike that he's not just a talent. He's a student of the game, ready to learn and apply every scrap of insight he can find. And make no mistake, the staff notices. Stefanski's offense thrives on quarterbacks who can execute play action with precision, who can read pressure quickly, and who aren't afraid to make those intermediate throws that move the chains. Sanders has already flashed those traits in live action, which is why missing these next opportunities feels like such a letdown. There's an urgency to see if he can string performances together, especially against opponents who won't make things easy. Then you've got the side stories swirling in Berea, the Myles Garrett speeding situation being the kind of distraction no team wants in camp. Stefanski's tone made it clear he's had enough of these incidents. And while there's no public confirmation of internal discipline, the fact that this is Garrett's 7th road-related issue since joining the Browns is a number that can't just be brushed aside. You don't want to see your best player sidelined by something avoidable. And the Luke Floria situation? That one stings, too. This was a guy connecting with Sanders in a way that had fans excited. That one-handed catch in preseason wasn't just a highlight, it was a glimpse of chemistry that could have developed into a serious weapon for the rookie QB. Now, with Floria on IR, it's another piece of the offense that's temporarily off the board. Sure, there's hope he could return this season, but it's one more what could have been to add to the list. For now, the next few days will be about updates on Sanders' recovery, on Gabriel's readiness, and on whether the Browns keep their quarterback count as is or add another arm. But there's also the question of fan confidence. How much faith do you have in this quarterback room to keep progressing without a setback turning into a derailment? So let's hear it. Browns fans, is this injury to Shedeur Sanders just a bump in the road, or is it a red flag that changes how you see the preseason playing out? Jump in the comments and let's talk about it. And while you're here, don't forget to hit that like button if you're riding with the Browns through every twist and turn, and subscribe so you're locked in for every update as this quarterback story unfolds.